What's up, fantasy champions? Spotlight Sports Network is excited to tell you about an amazing deal from Thrive Fantasy, your place for daily fantasy sports and esports. Right now with promo code SS Network, Thrive Fantasy will match up to $50 of your first deposit. So go to thrivefantasy.com and sign up now with promo code SS Network. That's thrivefantasy.com, promo code SS Network.
From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm so nation. No matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm so nation. No matter the location. This guy's at 83.
What up? What's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Darion coming to you live with a reaction Monday as usual. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Let me know in the chat if you like the new intro. Let me know if you like the new intro, ladies and gentlemen. Say it's fire. Say you need to update it a little bit more. Let me know what y'all feel about the new Spotlight Raiders Talk intro. If you need me to play it again, just let me know if you need me to play it again. But welcome everybody to another live show of the Spotlight Raiders Talk. What's going on, everybody? I'm gonna get to everybody in a minute, but shout out to all the subscribers that have subscribed to the YouTube page. And this is your first time ever being at our YouTube page, I would suggest that you subscribe and hit the bell button, get the latest news and all Raiders news. Shout out to everybody, man. Just to let y'all know, starting September 29th, we will be having 20% off everything on the website at spotlightsportsgear.com. If you did cop merch, hat, book bag, hoodie, anything you got from off the spotlightsportsgear.com website, please make sure you send it in the inbox at Spotlight Raiders Talk on Instagram. And follow me on Twitter at Spotlight Art and Talk. Follow me on Instagram at Spotlight Raiders Talk and Facebook Spotlight Raiders Talk. But what is going on, everybody? What is going on? All sports anchors are talking about the Raiders, even hating ass Stephen A. Snitch. We're going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen. But I do want to go over the game before we get the fans to call in and let them know how they feel about the game. I really want to go over the game because I really didn't get a chance to do a full recap. The way the game went yesterday, it was crazy. It was crazy. So I really want to break down all the stats and break down what actually happened in this game, man. Because when I tell you, if y'all was not in the live stream yesterday, the game was ridiculous. The game was ridiculous. And before we get into all that, I just want to say shout out to everybody from Dominic 5, J.A. Raider, getting cheeks, Sway Lopez, Central Cali, Bear, B. Al, the AJ Show, J.A. Let me see, Jesse Rodas. What's going on, Jesse? What's going on, my guy? Big Perm, what's going on? Fierce Raider, what's going on? Philly Sports Talk podcast, what's going on? Cool Kev, my guy. What's going on, everybody? Chansworthy Evans, White Tyson, Mike Washington, Malo 213, Raider 78. What's going on? First team in history to start 3-0 since versus 10-win teams. Hey, I like it. They don't like it, I love it. That's just how I see it. If they don't like it, I love it. Keep it the way it is, in my personal opinion. But I really want to get into the breakdown of this game. So the Las Vegas Raiders end up getting the win 31-28 in overtime over the Miami Dolphins. Now we are going to go with some game leaders and talk about it with Derek Carr, 26 of 43, 386 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 TD. We had Jacoby Brissett, 32 of 49, 215 yards, no passing touchdowns, and no picks. Now, you do have Gaskins with 13 carries for 65 yards. Peyton Barber had a breakout game in this game. Peyton Barber, 23 carries, 111 yards, and 1 TD. And we had Mike Gesicki and Brian Edwards. They was the receiver. They was the leaders of the receiver. Well, it comes to receiving yards, not reception. But Gesicki had 10 receptions for 86 yards, and Brian Edwards with 3 receptions for 86 yards. Well, 89 yards, just to say. But let's break down the team stats of this game. Let's definitely break down the team stats of this game before I go into it. And shout out to everybody. If I miss everybody's name, shout out to everybody that's going to be in the chat. Really do appreciate that. So let's go straight into the box score of this game. Not the box score, but the team stats. Now, when it comes down to first downs, now, if you look at it, the Raiders had 28 first downs compared to Miami Dolphins 22. Rushing first downs, we had 7 rushing first downs. Surprisingly, even though that our running game was not working the way it was, we still was able to run the ball and get more rushing first downs than them. First downs from penalties, they had 4, we had 3. Third down efficiency was 8 of 15, and it was 6 of 18. Fourth down efficiency, we only went for the fourth down one time in this game. They went for it. They was 3 of 4 on fourth down. We had 81 total plays to their 71. Now, total yards, we have 497 total yards on the offense. That is impressive. Almost 500 yards on the offensive side of the ball. That looks really good for the Raiders, still being the number 1 offense in the league on top of that. Then you have their total yards was 330, which we usually give up way more than that. So salute to the defense on that. Total drives. We only had 2 more total drives than them, 13 to their 11. Yards per play, they had 4.2. We had 6.1 yards per play overall in this game. I would have never thought that the way we ran the ball in the first half, 6.1 yards per play, but that definitely came through the passing. Now, when it comes to completion and attempts, they were 39 of 42. Just like 32 of 49. That was Jacoby Brissett. 26 of 43. The Miami Dolphins did have 3.9 yards per pass, but we had 7.8 yards per pass. We only threw 1 interception. Sacks on yards lost, we had 3 sacks. So we're going to definitely get into the offensive line. We're going to talk more about that. Make sure y'all answer the poll that's in the chat. So make sure we going to definitely talk about that as well. They only have 2 of 8. We had 140 rushing yards. Overall, they had 133 rushing yards of their 27 attempts compared to our 35 attempts. Then we have yards per rush. They have 4.9 yards per rush compared to our 4.0. So it's right there and there when it came to the rush yards per rush. When it comes to red zone attempts, we were 3 of 4 on red zone attempts. That is good compared to where we was last year. So I do like that we was 3 for 4 in the red zone. That was a very improving section of our football team here. And Miami was only 1 for 1 because there barely was in the red zone. They was barely in the red zone. So yeah, I do like that. 1 turnover. Sorry. No fumbles lost. Defense and special team TDs. They did get that 1 TD. And you have to look at it from the time of possession. They had the ball 31 minutes and 13 seconds. We had it 38 minutes and 47 seconds. So it was kind of balanced when it came to this game, y'all. So I definitely want to get into the box score as well and talk about the box score because it was just a lot to talk about. We already talked about Jacoby Brissett. We talked about Gaskins, Gesicki, and Peyton Barber. But let's get into the rest of the receiving core for the Las Vegas Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. So for the Miami Dolphins, they did have Mike Gesicki with 10 receptions, 86 yards on 12 targets. Jalen Waddle, 12 receptions for 58 yards on 13 targets. Devontae Parker, 4 receptions on 42 yards on 7 targets. Will Fuller, 3 receptions for 20 yards, only on 6 receptions. Myles Gasser, Malcolm Brown, and Smythe on there too. So let's look at the Las Vegas Raiders side of the field when it comes to the receiving core. Brian Edwards, like I said again, 3 for 89 yards on 5 targets. Henry Ruggs, 4 for 78 on 7 targets. Hunter Renfrow, 5 receptions for 77 yards for 6 targets. Darren Waller, 5 receptions for 54 yards on 7 targets. Kenyon Drake, 3 receptions for 33 yards on 6 targets. Peyton Barber, 3 receptions for 31 yards on 5 targets. Zay Jones only had 1 target in this game. Foster Moreau only had 2 targets in this game. And Allen Ingold had 1 target in this game, and that was for a touchdown. Let me just mute that real quick. All right, so give me 1 second here, y'all. But yeah, yo, so that's exactly what it looked like when it came to this game. But Denzel Perriman on the defensive side of the ball. Let's get into the defensive side of stats. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about the game. Denzel Perriman had 14 total tackles and 10 solo. 14 total tackles and 10 solo. The boy can play. The boy can really, really, really play. So definitely Denzel Perriman is definitely a guy that's winning me over on this defensive side of the ball. And then we have Corey Littleton. Corey Littleton is second in tackles on our team when it comes to 10 total tackles, 7 solo. Jonathan Abrams, 7 tackles, 3 solo. Trayvon Mullen, 6 total tackles, 5 solo. Jonathan Hankins, Trayvon Mullen had 2 pass defense as well. And so is Corey Littleton. Casey Hayward definitely played well and definitely giving us the safety, giving us the first points on the board. That really started off with us. And I'm hoping that we get we be on here when the pressure comes on for the Las Vegas Raiders, so we could definitely hear that as well. So let's get straight into the game and not just stats. Let's get into the full recap of this game because this game almost gave us a headache. Any Raiders fan or any Raiders YouTuber can tell you, this game almost gave us a headache, a heart attack, a stroke. It would have gave us everything because I feel like this is why this was a trap game. A lot of people say it wasn't a trap game. They can say whatever they want. But in my opinion, this was a trap game. Even though they didn't have Tua, I knew Jacoby Brissett was a good quarterback. I'm definitely giving him his props for keeping his team in the game. Even though that we scored 25 unanswered points, we still rocked out and still won this game. But they try to come back and climb back in this game, and we end up getting the win in overtime. So much respect to the Miami Dolphins competing and us getting the win as well. So let's talk about it. So the Las Vegas Raiders are off to the best start since 2002. Coach John Gruden isn't about to nitpick on how they are winning, but the reigning AFC teams in the player of the week, Daniel Carlson with the 22-yard field goal as time expired overtime, lifting the Raiders to a 31-28 victory over the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. And it marked the second time in Raiders' first 3 games, both at home, they overcame a 2-touchdown deficit to win in overtime. And they also did it against Baltimore in week 1 on Monday night. So this is what John Gruden had to say in the quote. This is press conference yesterday, saying, "I don't apologize for winning these games no matter how we won them," Gruden said. He said, "When we're down 14-0 and score 25 unanswered points in the NFL against a team like that, something is going right." I love that quote that he says. I really do love that quote that he says. And the Raiders quarterback Derek Carr found Brian Edwards for a 34 yards before Peyton Barber put together runs on of 27 and 8 yards to put Las Vegas on the Miami 11-yard line, and eventually set up the winning score for Carlson, who missed the extra point in regulation and kicked 2 field goals in the extra time frame. Now, I can say that the Las Vegas Raiders is the first team to open up 3-0 against teams that won more than 10 games in the previous season. Now, Carr, like I said before, completed 26 of his 43 passing attempts for 386 yards and 2 touchdowns. Used to see his talent receiving depth for the 3rd straight game. The 8-year veteran completed passes to 9 targets, led by Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, who each had 5 receptions, and Renfrow, who scored a touchdown. Now, with our star running back, Josh Jacobs, being out with an ankle injury, recently Simon Barber led the rushing with 111 yards and a touchdown on 23 carries. And I think, and me personally, this is a quote that was said by John Gruden. Another quote that I read yesterday that I want to pull up for y'all. He said, I think he did more than just run it. We went to him as a third down back, and he caught a pass out of the backfield, and he picked up some blitzes, and he was helpful in protection and didn't blow any assignments, and he ran hard. That is what John Gruden said. And I don't even hardly know this guy, but I have to give him a huge and a huge hug and a game ball. So Gruden don't give out game balls at all. That's the one thing I can say. Gruden does not give out game balls at all. So, in my opinion, if you're giving a game ball to a guy that you barely know, that means you're doing something in this Raider offense. You got to be doing something in this Raider offense. And while the Raiders offense outgained Miami 497 to 330, it was their special teams in the defense that ignited the comeback after Miami scored the game. Scored the game 14 first points of the game, if you know what I mean. One play after Zay Jones I can't get my notes together for nothing. One play after Zay Jones raced downfield on the punt, it had the ball on the 1 yard line. The corner Casey Hayward caught the Miami receiver Jalen Waddle on a screen pass in the red zone for a safety. Another big play to turn this game around to win this game. So shout out to Casey Hayward for playing lights out in these last 3 weeks. That little moment that Zay just giving an extra effort and an extra burst to go and putting the ball, I mean, it allows us to get 2 points and get us back going, Derek Carr said. He made a huge play for us on special teams in that moment. So going through this game, Carlson booted a 50-yard field, a 50-yard field goal to get the Raiders within 9, and then after the defensive stop, the Las Vegas Raiders drove 95 yards to cut Miami's lead 14-12. And fullback Alec Ingold was rewarded, having the number called after recovering Barber's fumble on the goal line on previous plays. This game was so much fun, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. But let me finish this recap, and we're gonna have the people call up. Let's finish this recap real quick. So the Raiders scored on the next 2 possessions when Carr and Riffo connected for a 12-yard strike, and Barber dived over the pack for a 1-yard touchdown to open up a 25-14 lead. But we have to say, we got to give the Dolphins some credit again, because the Dolphins was not done, though. Because after Miami, Jason Sanders made a 1-score game with a 46-yard field goal midway through the 4th quarter, Jacoby Brissett did scramble on a 4th and goal on the 1-yard line with 2 seconds left in regulation, and Brissett passed to Will Fuller for the 2-point conversion, forcing an overtime, which Damon Arnett was on that coverage at that moment. And the teams do exchange field goals in an overtime before Carlson's winner. The Dolphins elected to kick the field goal on a 4th and 2 from the Las Vegas 32-yard line. That tied the game with 2 minutes and 49 seconds remaining, but Miami never got the ball back because it's just Derek Carr that we're talking about. So Brissett playing in the place of injury to Tagovailoa finished 32 of 49, 215 yards. Waddle led Miami with 12 receptions for only 58 yards, and Mike Gesicki hauled in 10 passes for a team high of 86 yards. There was definitely a little bit of a allure when it comes to the second and third quarter. Miami's coach Brian Flores did say we couldn't get much going offensively. Brissett got a lot more comfortable as the game went on, stepping up in the pocket and making some big throws in the end. Ultimately, it wasn't enough, and we got to play better across the board. So, I got to say, man, thick as thieves. When the linebacker Elandon Roberts darted for an 85-yard pick, 6 for a touchdown, it extended the NFL's best streak of 25 games with a takeaway for the Miami Dolphins. In big play, Bryan Edwards. Edwards has 6 catches for 101 yards in the regulation this season. He has 4 catches for 109 yards in overtime, and 109 yards receiving in overtime by Edwards are the most in the season by any player since 1991. Up next, the Dolphins have the Indianapolis Colts, and the Raiders travel to the Los Angeles into Inglewood, California against the Chargers on Monday night on October 4th. Okay, so I had to get my little written stuff down. I had to get that out the way first before I get into the real talk about this game. Let's be honest here. Let's talk about the offensive line. Let's talk about the offensive line, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to get to everybody's comment. Just let me finish what I have. The offensive line. Put Y in the comments if Andre James should be replaced. Put Y in the comments if Andre James needs to be replaced. Because I think a lot of those drives on the Raiders offensive side, they was really derailed because of the high snaps that Andre James was getting. And I feel like Andre James, it's time for him to be replaced. Bring up Morsley or bring Nick Martin into it. That's my personal opinion here. Even though the Raiders are 3-0, now we got the positive stuff out the way. Let's criticize the stuff that needs to be worked on if we want to win this game on Monday night against the Chargers in SoFi Stadium. Andre James just got to work on his snaps. I understand that, but I feel like right now, I don't think he's ready to be a starter. I really don't think Andre James is ready to be a starter, and those high snaps really killed most of our drives. It really killed most of our drives. I think we need to put a veteran in there in Nick Martin that only allowed 1 sack last year against Deshaun Watson as a center. I don't know why I understand that he's Rodney Hudson's protege. I really do understand that. I really think Nick Martin is more of the veteran and needs to be the starter at center. He only allowed 1 sack. 1 sack as a center from his position, not from the guard, tackle, or none of that. From his position in the center, he only allowed 1 sack for the Houston Texans as at the center position. So I feel like James needs to be replaced because we cannot go in there with high snaps and getting sacks like that. We just can't. But I feel like overall the offensive line does need work because we're going up against a good front seven. A good front seven in the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday night. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this offensive line, I feel like you need to bring up Morsley or let Nick Martin get some first team snaps. That's just me. People can say what they want about Nick Martin, but he's a legit center. 1 sack given up in 2020. I say put Nick Martin in there. Andre James is just not ready for the spotlight being at Allegiant Stadium or in big time games. I just don't think he's ready for that. Yeah, the center is the leader, and I feel like we need a leader at the center position. I think Nick Martin can bring that. Yeah, it does take away from Carr's play. It takes away from Derek Carr's play to look at the field. He got to have a high snap, and then he got to get the ball out quick. And it just messed up the rhythm between the receivers and the quarterback because of the high snap. So if it's going to give us, if we're going to struggle like that against a Joey Bosa that we go into their hometown on Monday night, this is why I don't look over games. This is why I don't look over games at all. Because when you put James in there, he's really small against defensive linemen. He's not that big of a center. But I just feel like we need to give Nick Martin at least a chance on that field. We don't see him on that field at all. What did we bring in Nick Martin for if we're not going to put him on the field? Same thing I feel about Trey Regis. Same thing I feel. When it comes to Trey Regis, you bring him up to the 53-man roster for him just to sit the bench and suit up. I don't understand it. We used to do a 3-headed monster last year. We did do a 3-headed monster. It's not really a 3-headed monster, but we did have a 3-back system. We did have Jacobs, Devontae Booker, and Jalen Richard. Why we're not doing that with Trey Regas? What is the point of bringing him up to not get no reps? It's hurting the guy. Miguel Ruiz, if you really think that Andre James is our guy at center, then I don't know what you're looking at. I don't know what you're looking at. If y'all think Andre James is the guy at center against this front seven against the Chargers, we're gonna have a long night. You bring Regas up because he's an upcoming and he's legit. People have been reaching out about him. Yeah, you brought him up. Now he's signed. He's officially signed to the active 53-man roster. So nobody can go get him if he's actually on the 53-man roster. That's what I'm saying to y'all. Trey Regas is up there. Trey, you could put him in on passing downs. Have him block. And Nick Martin haven't played guard since college, y'all. Y'all gotta realize that. He have not played guard since his college days. Nick Martin been in this league for a while. Thank you, White Tyson. Thank you, White Tyson. He says, you learn how to shotgun snap at 10 years old. He can't even snap the ball. I just feel like a veteran and a more experienced center is better for us because Andre James is not an experienced center. Even though he played behind Rodney Hudson, it doesn't look like he played behind him. It doesn't look like nobody want to play behind him. How he's a below average Raider, Carlos? I want to know why he's a below average when he only gave up 1 sack in 2020. How does below average? How? I don't understand how he's below average and he only gave up 1 sack at his position in 2020. That doesn't make any sense to me. And listen, Jesse, I could completely understand what you're saying. He's been going up against some monsters on defense, but Nick Martin is the veteran and played against these guys in the AFC before. He started against these guys. I just feel like when you go with a veteran, the veteran moves. The veteran is going to move the way a veteran is going to move. But Raider Carlos, you're not telling me the reason why he's below average. He's below average, but he will be an upgrade to Andre James. He would definitely be a Morrissey and Nick Martin would be an upgrade to Andre James. That's my opinion. Y'all can say what I want. Martin is better than James. I watched him play with the Texans. Go look at the film. He only allowed 1 sack last year. 1. That's what I'm saying. When you put a veteran in there that played against this front before, it's tough. It's tough to put an inexperienced guy that really didn't have no playing time last year, put him in there and expect him to be great when he didn't have no real experience playing against the top guys where Nick Martin did. He was a starter with the Houston Texans. So, but we're going to get through every position. We're going to get to every position, but I feel like right now, if we want to win games, it start with the trenches. It's offensively, it starts with our offensive line. 3 sacks on Carr yesterday. I was like, no, it got to get better. It has to be better. We saw Leatherwood take a step back from what he was last week, even though that he got it hurt last week. But we seen him take a step back. He was getting beat. And mind you, Phillips is a rookie. Phillips on the Miami Dolphins is a rookie. And he was eating Leatherwood alive. He was eating Leatherwood alive. So I'm just being honest here. I'm just giving you my personal opinion on it. Martin played in the preseason, but he didn't play against top defenses. He played against players that probably didn't even make the team. So I hope he's just shuffling his cards. I just really hope, John Gruden evaluates every position. He evaluates every position. So let's talk about the running backs. Now, the only reason way we can talk about the running backs is still talking about the offensive line. But you have to give some type of, you got to take the good with the bad when it comes to talking about the Raiders. You can talk to them about, you can talk bad about them and what they need to fix. and you could talk about what they did correctly in this game. Now, in the second half, when it came down to crucial downs and it came down to the running game, they opened up lanes for Peyton Barber. I can say that, because Peyton Barber wouldn't have had 111 rushing yards if it wasn't for that offensive line. They started to open up holes at the end of the game in that OT. So you got to give credit where credit is due for making the adjustments on the offensive line, and then you got to give them some criticism too. So I do like what they did with Peyton Barber. Kenyon Drake couldn't find a hole. He couldn't find a hole. Me personally, I feel like Kenyon Drake is not being utilized for his full potential, because Kenyon Drake is a east and west type of runner. He's not a north and south type of runner. He's one of those backs that comes out the backfield. You got to get him around the corner. You got to get him around the corner. You got to pin that DN off and get him around the corner. He's not a north and south runner. He never was. Go look at him in Alabama. What makes you think Kenyon Drake was running back by committee? Because he was never a north and south runner. He's always an east and west runner. So you got to get plays. You got to play him to his strength. And I feel like the Raiders right now are not playing Kenyon Drake to his strength. Coming from I played multiple positions in football, so I know what it is to be a fullback / running back. I know when I got older, I know what it is to be an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. I know what it is. You got to get him on sweeps, tosses, jet sweeps. Right, little Mike. Little Mike, you absolutely correct. You got to get him on screens, tosses, and jet sweeps. Even on halfback screens, you got to call a halfback screen. So you gotta get him on those type of plays. You can't run him like a Josh Jacobs. You just can't. That's what you boarded Peyton Barber for, to be the bruiser. Let him be the finesse running back. Just like what it was when it came to Josh Jacobs and Jalen Richard and Devontae Booker. When Devontae Booker was that power back, Jalen Richard was more of that finesse back that caught the ball in the backfield that goes east and west. Jalen Richard can never go north and south. Never. And that's the problem, get 'em cheeks. That's the problem. We don't do halfback screens. But you know what halfback screens do for a defense? It slows down the pass rush. It slows down the pass rush. So we have to attack the edges, and we have to play to the player's strength. We have to. But Reggie Bush, even though Reggie Bush had a little bit more power than Drake in college, but we all knew Reggie Bush was an outside running back. He was never in between the tackles running back. So that's what I see when it comes to the running back position. Peyton Barber did play correctly. He played well. But at the same time, I still feel like Kenyon Drake needs to play to his full potential and play to his strength. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the running backs did well. You know, a lot of catches out the backfield. Peyton Barber stepped up with 111 yards. He could have had, and he had a touchdown on top of that, dove over the offensive line. They try to make it seem like, oh, he fumbled the ball. Nah. So when it comes to, let me know if the presser is on. Please let me know if the Raiders presser is on. So I could hook it up to the audio so we can listen to it. But let's get to the wide receivers, man. This is the part that I want to get into. Wide receivers and tight ends. The wide receivers looked at really good. Man, wide receivers looked at really good, man. I got to give much respect to the wide receivers yesterday. Especially Henry Ruggs, Brian Edwards, Hunter Renfrow, the route running from everybody on there. We're going to get into that fierce Raider. We're going to get into John Gruden. Like I said, you got to take the negative with the positives. See, this is why I said people got on me. People got on me Monday night when we played the Baltimore Ravens in week 1. When I said that Waller had too many targets, he had almost 20 targets, and Carr was just looking at Waller in week 1. I feel like the Raiders listened to me. I feel like the Raiders listen to me. I said you got to get Ruggs involved. The more that you're involved in the game, the more confidence these young receivers are going to have. And that's exactly what happened in the last 2 weeks. You got Ruggs involved early. You got Edwards involved early, which, kind of early, but kind of late at the same time. But the route running, the catches, going up 50-50 balls, over the shoulder. It was just everything that we needed from this wide receiver core, especially from our two young guys, Henry Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. You gotta believe even though people say we want Devontae Adams next year, I feel like year 3, they're going to be better than year 2. And I don't think it has anything to do with Carr trusting Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. I think the COVID year really sucked when these two guys did not have any type of reps in training camp. Everything was Zoom calls last year. They didn't have no reps on the field. They just had to go out there and start practicing. But training camp and them OTAs really helped these two guys this year. It really helps. Who still prefers Lamb and Judy over Ruggs? Me personally, I know Judy's on the injury, but I still feel like Lamb is still better than Ruggs. Don't get me wrong. If you want to take the Raiders out of it and I take this Raiders stuff off and you want me to be an actual analyst of football, I mean, CeeDee Lamb isn't as bold, but Ruggs is getting there. I'm not taking nothing away from Ruggs. Ruggs is getting there. But CeeDee Lamb and Ruggs is taking the better steps than Judy is. And Judy was the top guy. Judy was the top guy in that draft. Then it was CeeDee Lamb, then it was Henry Ruggs. But at the end of the day, the wide receivers played a magnificent job tonight. Magnificent. If you got to give it up for Ingo for getting a receiving touchdown, you got to give it up for him. Got to give it up for him. So shout out to Tyson with the $5 super chat. He said, can we stop tearing apart these young players, please? All you did to Ruggs last year and now Leatherwood. Stop judging these guys off of 1 year. This is my thing. I'm not judging these guys off 1 year. Let me tell y'all something about Leatherwood. And people can say what they want, but thank you for the $5 super chat. Y'all can say whatever y'all want about Leatherwood. We all knew coming into this draft that Leatherwood wasn't a great passer. I mean, he wasn't a great pass blocker. Everybody knew that. If you look up any analyst that tells you about Alex Leatherwood, if you look it up, they tell you that his grade as a pass blocker is not better than him being a run blocker. That's what I'm saying. People need to stop saying about me being down on Leatherwood. The only reason why I'm being down on Leatherwood because I just want him to be better. He struggles with speed. He struggles with his kickback. He struggles with his hands. He struggles when he flips his hips as an offensive lineman. That's what I'm saying. When it's against speed, he struggles. When it's against power, he's good. So you got to take the good with the bad with these players, like Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs, yeah, he had a COVID year. I've been saying that. Did I want Henry Ruggs in the draft? No, that's my personal opinion. That's my personal opinion. Did I want him in the draft? No, I wanted CeeDee Lamb. I feel like CeeDee Lamb was the better receiver coming out of the draft that year. But now I see improvement for Henry Ruggs. I give him the utmost respect, gaining weight, learning routes, and now he looks good. He took the initiative to be better, and that's why I feel like I'm liking Ruggs every single week. I just want to see improvement. That's all I want to see. But let's talk about the catch. The tiptoe on the sideline. That was a ridiculous play. And I was like, man, shout out to him going up and get that. But the thing about this, I didn't know that Henry Ruggs can jump that high. That was the shocking part about me. I did not know that he was jumping high at all. I had no clue about him jumping that high, going to get 50-50 balls. And I'm like, what? I did not know that. I didn't see him run those type of routes at Alabama. So I didn't expect his vertical to be that high. But I gotta respect it though. Gotta be. So we went through the wide receivers tight ends. Waller, everybody know that attention was going to go to Waller because he considered a top 3 tight end. So we really can't say nothing about Waller, but Waller did make some good catches. He did have 5 receptions for 54 yards, but not a touchdown. But it is what it is. This is why the other receivers have to get involved. So now you got to be like, okay, if we're going to cover Waller, now we got to cover Vudge. We got to cover Edwards. We got to cover Renfro. And they still trying to double team Waller and keeping other receivers open. Keep doing that. We're going to keep winning games that way. Keep double teaming Waller if you want to. Because that's what Miami was doing. They was double teaming him and everybody else was eating. Simple as that. So let's talk about John Gruden before we get to the defensive side of the ball. Now, we started off slow for the 3rd straight week. And those first 15 to 20 plays that John Gruden scripts up, it never works. It never works. And we've been seeing that. We've been seeing that for the longest now. We see the first 15 to 20 scripts don't work. The 15 to 20 plays don't work. It don't work at all for this offense. I feel like when you put the ball in Derek Carr's hands, you got to let him make adjustments at the line. You got to make him switch plays up because some things was just too predictable in this game, especially when we went forward on 4th down. Mind you, it was already 3-1. It was already 3rd and 1, right? It was already 3rd and 1. And what happens is we run the ball, we don't get the 1st down. So we go forward on 4th down, and it looks like we run the same play that we ran on 3rd down. I understand. If you would have ran the ball, I don't mind running the ball on 4th and 1, but you had everybody stacked in. No wide receivers, no tight ends. You had nothing to spread out this defense. This is where you would have brought in a Keon Drake to run outside. We ran up the middle back-to-back plays, and it was turnover on downs. We should have spread it out the defense. Bring out a 5 wide receiver set or a 4 wide receiver set with the running back in the backfield. You could have did that. You could have did a RPO. There's so many ways you could get a 1st down with plays. You could do it out of a single back. You could do it out of an I formation. You could do it out of a shotgun. You could do it out of a pistol. You could do it with RPO, zone read. You could have did a zone read with Derek Carr instead of just going straight up the middle, the same exact play that we did on 3rd down. Could have fake punted. I could have took the fake punt. And this is my problem. People say that I get on Gruden too much. This is my thing about him being so conservative. This is why I argue with a lot of Raiders fans, because this is the type of conservative stuff that could lose us football games in the future. It really can. And Gruden has to be aggressive in those type of plays. If you're going to go for it on 4th down, at least be aggressive doing it. You know, this offensive line in the first half was not moving the football when it came to running. It was very predictable. And it was very conservative. So John Gruden definitely made adjustments in the second half. But the last 4 minutes, the last 8 minutes of the 4th, I kind of question John Gruden. The last 8 minutes of the 4th, I kind of question John Gruden. We got too conservative and got too comfortable with the lead. We had an 8-point lead and we got too comfortable. Too comfortable. And John Gruden, you have to keep your foot on the gas. I've been saying this since I've been a YouTuber. I've been a Raiders YouTuber. You gotta keep your foot on the gas. If you don't do it, then they come back in the game. And that's exactly what happened in Miami back-to-back years. We didn't keep our foot on the gas. They came back and they almost beat us last night. You can't do it. You can't do it at all. So if I am John Gruden and I'm looking at this film on Monday, or they're giving them the day off, or if you're looking at this film, I'm hoping that you look at how conservative you was in certain situations of the game, because honestly, this should not have went into overtime. It should not. And you can't play like that again. You can't play like that on Monday night. You can't. Against the Chargers will take advantage of that if we don't play creative or come aggressively. So John Gruden, it's another thing I wanted to tell you too, John, is that you put too much pressure on our defense to win that game. You put too much pressure. That's why you was conservative on offense, because you put that pressure on the defense to win this game. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I understand that we have a good defense, but our defense was out there more than damn near our offense in the first half. If we got the lead, this is what I said in the live stream. If y'all was not here in the live stream, make sure y'all go back and watch the live stream, because it's still up. If this is my thing, if you are up by 8, right? You run the ball twice. I didn't mind the first down and second down. The third down play, Kenyon Drake missed a block. And that's how Card got sacked on third down. And it took us out of range to kick a field goal to put us up 10. Put us up what? Yeah, about 11 points. It would have put us up 11. I'm sorry, I had to think. I'm sorry. I'm slow when it comes to math. I'm sorry. But Kenyon Drake missed a big block with that blitz with Carr getting sacked with 4 minutes left in that fourth quarter. Now you put pressure on our defense to go out there and make a stop after we had 2 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter. The defense did help us win games, but I feel like he put a little bit too much. He got too comfortable too early in this game. He got too comfortable. Bad timeouts too. Speaking of that too, thank you, that one guy _69. Thank you so much for telling me that. Look at the timeouts. When Kenyon Drake caught the ball and tried to reach in for a touchdown. This is my thing. If you knew it wasn't a touchdown, why would you call that timeout right there? Why would you do that? All you got to do is line up, give the ball to Ingold, or throw the ball to Ingold like you did last time. Because even when you came out the timeout, I was scared that Carr was going to get that ball picked off against Ingold. That's what I thought. He wasted the timeout so early in the first half. We had one timeout left in the fourth quarter because he used them so early. So he got to learn how to use. He got to learn how to clock. He got to learn how to clock manage. So that's basically what I can say about John Gruden in this game, and what I can say about these offense. Now let's talk about this defense, because the defense definitely stepped up when it was needed. It definitely stepped up when it was needed. I think we only gave up 2 touchdowns and a few field goals. I'm not sure. I think we gave up almost like 17 points, if I'm not mistaken, as a defense again, because the pick 6. It should have been 25-17 final. That exactly, J.A. Raider. It should have been 25-17 final, Raiders. But this defensive line started off slow. We couldn't get to the quarterback. We had some bad miscues on defense. A lot of players were getting hurt on the defensive side of the ball. Defensive line, Carl Nassib looks good. Max Crosby does what he does. But I got a question for Yannick Ngakoue. Yannick Ngakoue. I did not understand your philosophy in this game at all, Yannick Ngakoue. I did not understand your philosophy in this game. When the ball was being ran, this is why they was running halfback draws to your side. They was running halfback draws to your side because you would pursue upfield instead of staying flat and containing the inside or the outside. Why would you pursue upfield and leave a hole wide open for Gaskin to run through? And he kept doing it. He kept doing it. I don't understand, man. I don't understand. Yannick did not play a good game when it came to the run game. I don't even think he could get a sack. I think that he's not one. Me personally, I don't think he's 100%. He ain't had that same burst that he had in the Baltimore game. I don't think he's 100%. And Yannick is forcing himself out there because he's a leader, he's a captain, and he treats it as such. He treats it as such. So when it comes to this game, man, the defense did not give up, but that 4th and 20 had me so upset on the live stream. It made no sense to me. So let's get back to Yannick. Yannick is a pass rusher. But if you notice, when they do those running back jet sweeps, he was getting beat every time. Even though he's a pass rusher, he was going upfield when the run was coming through his hole. Why are you running upfield? If you see that it's a run, stay in your base. That's what you do. You saw that it was a run and you pursued upfield and the running back just hit your hole on your side. And this is why we have to figure out on running situations, who do we put there? Yannick or Cleveland Farrell? What do we do here? Because if Yannick is just to consider it just a one-dimensional pass rusher and not against the run, that is an issue against teams that can run the ball effectively. And I know he's dealing with a hamstring injury. I understand that he doesn't want to sit out, but if you're not 100% healthy, even though that he had the pressures and all of that nature, in my opinion, I still feel like Yannick Ngakoue needs rest. He needs to sit out at least 1 week. Truth Awakes, we already talked about Andre James. You missed that segment. But I will come back to it later on after I'm done talking about the defense. But I got a question for y'all. How did y'all feel about the 4th and 20? How do y'all feel about the 4th and 20? Because the 4th and 20, I don't know why would you have a rookie in Devon Diablo covering Gesicki? Please remind me of that. You have Devon Diablo, a rookie, going up against one of the most up-and-coming best tight ends in football, in Mike Gesicki. And it's a lot of things I could go into this defense, especially with Gus Bradley when he goes to that 4-2-5. When it goes to that, I feel like if we go to our base 4-3, we'll be able to cover the middle of the field so much. That's how they was able to dink and dunk on us in the middle of the field, because we had 2 linebackers, and when they ran out plays, they ran out routes, and both of our linebackers had to protect the flats. We have nobody in the middle of the field as a linebacker. We don't. And this is why I never liked the 4-2-5. Just having 2 linebackers out there is not enough. It's not enough. Be out. If you don't have zero complaints, I don't know what you're seeing, bro. I don't know what you're seeing. You gotta give criticism within this win. Even though that we won, and I'm happy that we won, but you gotta break down this team or what needs to be fixed. We didn't play a perfect game yesterday. We didn't. Our defense didn't play up to par like we thought they would in this game. We slacked. But at the same time, like I said before, Gruden put it in the defensive hands many times. The Gruden put the defense in his hands many times. I just feel like if we go to our base 4-3 defense with 3 linebackers, I'm fine with that. But when you have 2 linebackers out there and you running out routes or you're running something up the seam, the middle of the field is open for people to cut through, make slants, sit in that zone, and boom. We got gassed. I'm not going to even say injuries. Injuries happen. The next man up. This is why we brought in depth on our defense. Y'all can say injuries all y'all want, but it's the next man up. This is a professional football game. It's the next man up. It was a very ugly game. But we got the win. I'm not mad at that, but we got the win. Defense, Trayvon Mullen got away with a pass interference, bro. I mean, not Trayvon Mullen, Jonathan Abram. Jonathan Abram got away with a pass interference on Will Fuller in the end zone. He got away with that. As I look at the pictures, if you go look at the pictures on the Miami Dolphins side, they show the picture of Jonathan Abram's arms grabbing Will Fuller in the end zone. I was like, damn, we got away with one. It did on top of that. Here comes Trayvon Mullen with his pass interference, and him and Trayvon Morick gets banged up. Damn, man. I was like, oh, I hope these guys is good. I hope these guys are good. They could come back in the game. They come back in overtime. I think Trayvon Morick, I think he was with an ankle sprain, if I'm not mistaken. But I was like, Trayvon Mullen is so handsy, bro. He is so handsy. He didn't even need to grab the receiver. The ball was overthrown. You didn't need to grab him in the end zone. You did not need to grab him because that's what set up the Jacoby Brissett 1-yard touchdown. Was that pass interference? We made a lot of mistakes on defense. We did. We did a lot of great things on defense. It's 50-50 with me. Exactly. You play the ball. But don't be grabbing the waist and grabbing the jersey just because you're getting burned. The ball was not catchable. If you just would have let him run, the ball was not catchable because we had pressure. Bernard, what did he do, brother? What did he do? Mullen's not playing up this year. Mullen is not playing up to his potential within the past 3 weeks. He's just not. The roughing the passer for Max Crosby, I was clearly, listen, I couldn't even be mad at the call. I could not be mad at the call. Because it was really roughing the passer. That's what it was. It was roughing the passer. It was an idiotic play. And if you look at it, Brissett had the ball out his hands already. Max Crosby just could have slowed down, gave him a little tap, something of that nature, or just go like this. The 4th and 20 killed it the most, but if you look at the pass interference on Trayvon Mullen and you look at the roughing the passer on Max Crosby, those two killed our drive, y'all. They killed it. They killed it. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is with it. Special teams, I have nothing to say about the special teams. The special teams, okay, he could be mad about the defense. I'm giving my good and my bad about the defense. It doesn't even matter. I ain't worried about Clown. I'm not worried about him. But I don't really have nothing to say about the special teams. Special teams played so well yesterday. We pinned them back so many times. Shout out to Daniel Carlson, even though that he missed the extra point. He gave us the game winner to give us the W. Carr put us in position for Daniel Carlson to make that field goal. Our special teams return, when it comes to the return part of it, we got to get better at. We got to get some open holes for Hunter Renfrow and Henry Ruggs. If you're going to have those talented players out there on special teams when it comes to kick returns and punt returns, we got to block better. We got to block better. But as far as Cole punting the ball and keep pinning them back and putting them in the right position, I think special teams did well on that part as far as field position. Defense just needs to clean up. The offense gotta be less conservative, and the offensive line has to get better. That's what we have to focus on, that going into the next game, which is Monday night against the Los Angeles Chargers. But in the next segment here, we're going to talk about a few things. And a few things is going to be talked about this game. And a lot of things that I want to get into, I want to let the fans know. And three things that we learned. Put in the chat. 3 things that we learned about this Miami Dolphins game versus the Raiders. Let me know your 3 reasons in the chat. I'm going to give you mine. And I'm going to give me y'all's. What are the 3 things that you learned in this week 3 matchup against Miami? My first reason is this. There's something different about this Raiders team. It really is. That is my first reasoning that we learned. My first thing that we learned is something different about this Raiders team. In previous seasons, to start the game would have crumbled the Raiders. But the Miami Dolphins came out and punched the Raiders right in the mouth on a high level of aggression. But unlike previous seasons, the Raiders actually responded. To start this game with one of the worst that I can remember. It included several high snaps from the center, Andre James, that I talked about earlier in this segment, including one that caused us a intentional grounding penalty. Later, Carr threw a pick 6. Foster Moreau stopped on his running route. The linebacker, Orlando Roberts, took an interception for 85 yards for a touchdown. But after all of that, the Raiders failed to convert on fourth and 1, deep in their own territory, and Michael Brown gets a 24-yard touchdown with the Silver and Black suddenly down 14-0. But the Raiders do come back. 12 straight points going into halftime, only trailing 14-12. The defense continued their dominant ways all the way up to the fourth quarter when a couple of untimely penalties that we just talked about with Max Crosby and Trayvon Mullen allowed the Dolphins to score a touchdown on Jacoby Brissett's scramble on the 4th and goal with 2 seconds left. The 2-point conversion thrown to Jalen Waddle sent the game into overtime. We all know what happened with that with Damon Arnett. We all know what happened with that. But Brissett ended up with the game. We already put, 215 passing yards, 35 rushing yards, and 1 total touchdown. But the Raiders' defensive line was all over Brissett. Even though they got 2 sacks officially, but in the past years, it would have been a game that the Raiders would end up losing due to all the adversity that was faced to open up this game. But there's something different about this Raiders team that has been trying to tell us this whole offseason. So that is the first thing, that I've learned with this game in week 3. The second reason, and I said this before and I'm going to say it again, the offensive line still is a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. because the Raiders made their major changes to this offensive line in the offseason, losing Rodney Hudson and losing Gabe Jackson. Now Richie Incognito is hurt. And, you know, we have, and Trent Brown is no longer with the Raiders, stole money from us, and now he's stealing money from the Patriots. We all know that. But Gruden has too much confidence in Andre James, and the Raiders signed him to a contract extension before the season even began. They also drafted tackle Alex Leatherwood with the 17th overall pick to replace Trent Brown, figured moving Denzel Good back to his natural position at the right guard position, making the changes seamless. So, like I said before, Las Vegas also have Incognito returning from injury, but as the season gotten underway, plans have gone up in the smoke. And Incognito is hurt again. Good is lost for the year, and James have shown that he is a work in progress. However, despite all the challenges, that they haven't given up more than 3 sacks in any single game yet, and 3 petty, ferocious defensive lines. 3 pretty. And after struggling to run the ball in the first 2 games, the Raiders finally went over the century mark in rushing yards against this Miami defense. So a third-string running back from the former Washington football team practice squad, Peyton Barber, took advantage of his time with Jacobs out of the lineup. Alongside Kenyon Drake, rushed for 111 yards in this contest. But this offensive line is still young and is trying to gel after multiple injuries have affected the original look of this team. So after all, the Raiders are still undefeated with this line, but it's still a lot of improvement that needs to be done. And I said this in the beginning of our segment. I said this. So let me see if I have any more super chats. I don't want to pass anybody on the super chats. I do apologize if I missed the super chats. I do apologize. But shout out to Jackie the Raiderette. They are playing together, fixing each other's mistakes. Shout out for the 199 super chat. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Really, really thank you so much. All right. And then the last thing that we learned in week 3. The last thing that we learned. The third thing that we learned in this game. The young wide receivers are starting to emerge. Because this is the last segment before I'll open up the phone lines for the fans to call up. But the young wide receivers are starting to emerge. And when the Raiders let Nelson Aguilar walk away this offseason, as he signed with the New England Patriots, it left many thinking who will step up as the number 2 option for Derek Carr in this passing game after Darren Waller. So would it be Henry Ruggs to validate his draft slot? Will Brian it will live up to the hype as he received when he got drafted in the 3rd round in 2019? Can Hunter Renfrow be more than just a slot receiver? That was the questions coming into this offseason. That was the questions. And after 3 games, the answer to those questions would be yes. The answer on that definitely will step up, and who will step up in Aguilar's absence, and that's everybody. Brian Edwards only had 3 catches in this game, but for 89 yards, and all 3 were important, especially the one towards the end of overtime. Henry Ruggs finished the game with 4 catches for 78 yards, but some amazing catches in this contest almost had another long touchdown grab if Derek Carr didn't overthrow him. Renfrow is still one of the toughest players to cover in the NFL, as he was put Xavier Howard on skates time and time again. He grabbed 5 receptions for 77 yards and a touchdown. Every young wide receiver we have contribute to each of these 3 wins this season. This is exactly what the Raiders need them to do this season. I can't wait to see. I really can't wait to see what becomes when they're fully developed and fully potential. And that's a fact. So that is the 3 things that I've learned in this game. The 3 things that I've learned. Renfrow is the truth. Renfrow is definitely the truth. So now what's about to happen is we're about to open up the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to open up the phone lines for the Raider Nation to call up and let us know how y'all feel about this game. We want to hear from you. So let me change microphones real quick. Let me change it. See, changing microphones real quick. Had to change microphones. So, with that being said, y'all, all the segments that I really wanted to talk about in this game, I said enough. So now, if you want to call up to the show, it's 267 957 1431. If you want to call up to the show and let us know how you feel about this game, call up. I would love to hear from the Raider Nation. This is a Reaction Monday, and here we go. And thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from? Hello? All right. And thank you for calling us. I don't know what's happening.
Can't.
All right, I don't know what's going on here, but here we go. And thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from?
Kansas City, Kansas.
What's going on, my guy? What's going on with you?
What's up? What's up, man? I'm behind enemy line. First thing is, I heard all your comments, and right now we got a bunch of young wolves is really outthinking their position. They're not playing their position. They trying to think. They trying to cover spots that they really know how to cover. Next thing I want to say is, I don't think Leatherwood need to be out there because he got a lot of stuff he needs to work on. Like you said, his passing ability is not up to par. He's a good runner, run blocker, and everything else, but his passing skills are not that good. I knew Leatherwood was going to get tested because of JJ from Pittsburgh is on that side, and a lot of good players is on Leatherwood's side that he's going to be tested. The third thing is John Gruden don't have too much trust in these young guys. That's why he's not opening up the playbook. I see that. I don't care if you run one play up the middle. If that's not going to work, don't go back to it, especially on the 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. Go around the end. You know, I believe when these boys get together and they know how to play their position, not think their position, we're going to have a team. I do believe that. We're going to have a team. I think John Gruden is really depending on Gus Bradley's defense, how much everybody been blowing up by Gus and everything else. But first thing is, you know, John Gruden need to open up this playbook. It's not going to happen. If we keep on doing this, we're going to lose a lot of games that we need to win.
Okay.
So that's my opinion. So like I said, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying go ahead to you, sir. You are good.
I mean, you know, I've been watching this, and you know, some of the rookies don't need to be out there, especially Leatherwood on that side. That's a big step to put Leatherwood in. He's not ready for this. He's just straight out of college, and he's still got college things that he's going through his mind. He's in the big boys league, and when you put people out there that's not ready, they're going to crack. So I think we need to do some more scouting on that side, and defense need to tighten up because we got the Chargers, and they ready. Their running game is ready. Their offense is ready. And whoever wins in the trenches, that's who's going to win that game next Monday, the following Monday. So I knew you got other callers calling, so that's what I want to say. I'm a Raiders fan for life and beyond life. But this is our year. Next year's going to be our year because of the COVID. that stopped us. But no excuses. Just win, baby. Just win.
Facts.
So that's it. I mean, go ahead.
All right. I mean, I kind of agree that Graphk has to open up the playbook a little bit. That's open up a playbook a little bit more. I do agree with that. I think Leatherwood just needs. I think he just needs to keep developing. I mean, I don't know if we could put. Who can we put at right guard right now? I mean, right tackle right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, we don't have nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say that we have to keep him there and have to keep him working. I mean, look at Liam Eichenberg. Liam Eichenberg was a rookie that played with the Dolphins offensive line yesterday. So though there was some top guys coming out of college. So they both struggled. I just think once the year progressed, you got to just make sure he gets better, because right now we have no other option. Even though we could put Brandon Park in there and move him to guard, but right now I just think moving Leatherwood to guard right now is too early in the season. It's too early in the season to put him at guard right now.
I mean, I wouldn't do that anyway, because there's a lot of veterans that's out there for offensive line. You just if you want to spend the money for it, do it for 1 year, and let Leatherwood develop his passing skills, or just leave him out there and take a chance with him. That's the only two options that we have.
I mean, right now, I just don't know financially if we have the money to really go out and get like a good guard. If you notice, like Swartz and DeCastro has not been signed yet because they hurt. They was hurt. They coming off major surgeries.
Well,
so I'm not going to take a risk on a DeCastro or Swartz when they're coming off major catastrophic knee surgery and a major back surgery. So now we're gonna have to work with what we got right now.
Well, that's why we said you in Vegas. You all in, or you all in, or you gonna bust. So that's what's going to happen. And Leatherwood going to have to sit up there and say, "Hey, this is my weakness. I need to put more time in to develop." So that's going to be on him too. That depends how bad he wants to be on that field.
Right.
That's it. I mean, you're not in college no more. You're in the pros. So be good in your craft. If that's your weakness, stay. Work on your weakness.
Absolutely.
That's it. So some of these guys don't have that concept. That's why we have to have more leaders, especially on the offensive line. Hey, this is what I see you need to work on. This is what you need to work on. Instead of doing what you're doing, stay an extra 2 hours to work on your foot skills, on your hand skills. That's how you be in the Hall of Fame. You got to outwork the next man.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if Leonard got that in his mind, or he's too nervous, or he's scared to ask for help. But this is the wrong time to be doing it. Speak up. They like they said, they tell you every day, we there to help you.
Right.
And if the coaches see that and they don't pull him out and train him, then that's on them.
Facts.
That's on Gruden and them.
Facts.
So I know you got other people that's.
Oh yeah, they blowing up the lines right now, man.
I know, man. And that game shouldn't win in overtime. That game should have been won.
It should have been won in regulation. Absolutely, they should have been won in regulation. I agree.
And that's why I say Gruden. I believe that Gruden lost his killing skills, because there ain't nobody gonna sit there and not and just ride 8 points. They want more points than that. 8 points ain't nothing.
Facts.
8 points ain't nothing at all. So I think he lost some of his killing skills, or putting his foot on somebody's neck and crushing it, and just like, okay, then you know what? I'm just gonna ride along with this. Don't put the pressure on the defense. That defense is still young. You can't do that. Go ahead and kill him. Kill or be killed. That's it. That's my mind thinking.
All right, brother. I thank you for calling up. I thank you for calling up.
Thank
So I
you,
know the
sir.
lines is definitely blowing
Yeah,
up
I
at
know,
this
man.
moment. But
I can talk
thank
all
you.
day about the Raiders, but you take
Right.
care.
Yeah. Listen, anytime we have these shows, call up and let your voice be heard, bro.
No problem.
All right, man.
Later.
On to the next caller, which is thank you for calling the Spotlight Radio Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from?
Spotlight, Cool Kev, what's going on?
What's going on, Cool Cat? What's going with you, man? Thanks for calling, bro. I really do appreciate it. What's up?
Chilling, man. Watching the show there. Trying to just enjoy this crazy victory you just had here.
Okay, so let me know how you feel about this game. I mean, I said everything I had to say in my segments.
Well,
So you tell me how you feel about this game. Even though we got the win, you gotta bring it for some pros and cons. So let me know what you think.
so the end of the game, like 5 or 6 minutes left in the game, we had the ball twice, and Gruden decides to just run the ball, and kick the ball. And I think you should have started like throwing the ball and keep that clock going, because you will end up having to wait till 2 seconds left on the clock to kick the ball to go into overtime and start another game again. And then that'll help. That'll keep our defense fresh. For the next game instead of extending this game. So I think he needs to be more aggressive and start throwing the ball. Throwing the ball when we have these drives, because we wasted 2 drives with like 5 minutes left. If you go back and look at it, you could have started swinging that ball around. You have plenty. You have plenty options. So it's not the time to be sitting on the ball, and you have all this time off left and burning off all these timeouts. So, but other than that, it's a boxing match, and it was close. You can't sleep on Miami, man.
Facts. So
Yeah.
so on that's on the offense side of the ball. How you feel about the defensive side of the ball?
The defense, I think Max was and Yannick they were just being held, and you could flat out see it on the TV, man. They were like not calling it. They were missing a lot of them. They weren't calling it, and then like they were not playing the run as good as before, because like you said that they were letting Gaskins and break getting there, inside of the tackles there. They were letting Gaskins through there, and they were kind of sloppy in covering the run. So, they let I forgot his Brown. They let Brown get in there, but they usually do a better job of covering covering up the run. So, but like I said, they kind of like were sloppy with some of the stuff. But to be fair, we didn't get some of the calls either for holding, and they let Max. I mean, they had like 2 guys basically holding Max up, and he can't come out there and do his thing.
So overall, my question to you is, Cool Kev, how do you feel going into the Chargers game on Monday night?
I feel good, but my concerns is going to be like this game is they're going to start off slow again, and then and then try to start it up again in the second half and see what happens. But they can't play around with the Chargers, because if they got two nice wideouts out there, and it's like you got to be gunslinging with these guys. It's going to be a shootout. So, and it's going to be a close game. I think if we're going to either win by 6 or lose by 3. That's my take on it.
Okay. Thank you for calling up, Cool Kev. Really do appreciate it, man. The lines are blowing up. People want to have their voice heard to let it be known, man. But I do appreciate you calling up to the show and letting us know how you felt about the game, so I could get to the next caller.
All right, take it easy, brother.
All right, you too.
Peace.
And thank you. All right, so let me. Thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from? Hello. All right, so I'm waiting for the next caller to come in. It said it was. I don't know what happened. So we're just waiting for the next caller to call in. I did have him on the next call. I don't know what happened. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. We got it. And thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from?
Yo, what up? It's Pastor Raider out of Oklahoma City, but I'm from Stockton, California. How's
What's
everybody
going
doing?
on, Pastor Raider? What's going on, brother? What's up with you?
Nothing much, man. Yo, I'm really hyped about this game. I know we had a lot to talk about with as far as the offensive line was concerned, which I have a few comments on that. I disagree and agree on the same playing field with a lot of the things that were said, even some of the stuff that you were said. But it's all love, man. We're all one family. Disagreements happen, and it's all just talking about our team. So
right. I mean, we always want to come into agreement to disagree. I'm just looking at it from a performance standpoint.
Of course. I think the way that I would put it though, and I'm gonna try not to be long-winded, is if we're in the process of developing, especially the two players that have been talked about the most, which is Andre James and Alex Leatherwood. In my personal opinion, Alex Leatherwood is ready to be out there. He's just not going to play to that top tier that we want him to. But neither did Colton Miller, who's on the left side, right? We remember what happened when Colton Miller came into the league, but we saw what Tom Cable did with him. To the same degree with Andre James. Andre James had his worst game yesterday. That was his worst game by far. We saw glimpses of it through the first two games, but that game was his worst game by far. I cannot explain why those snaps kept going high. All I know is Carr probably could have thrown for 400 and 500 yards had some of those not been thrown so high. I say all that to say, I believe the equalizer in the conversation is that we need to continue to play them in regards to their development, because that means by the end of the season, we have our guys set in stone instead of flopping people around. And the X factor inside of that process has got to be Tom Cable. It has to be.
I agree. I agree to some extent, but I just feel like now, he has to be out there to learn from his mistakes. I could completely agree with that. But when you have a guy on the bench, as Nick Martin only gave one sack up last season with that terrible offensive line, but he's doing it at his position, at the center position. Why not give him a shot? You know what I'm saying?
See, this is my word. I hear you. I hear you, but this is my concern, right? When do we give him that shot? Because I don't think that the Chargers are the team to give him his first snaps in how long? You know what I mean? And I see where you're going. I totally follow you. And I think I'm sitting in the middle on this conversation a lot, in the sense of I worry about bringing this guy in and it hurting the development of Andre James. But I also understand that if Andre James does what he did yesterday against the Chargers, we are in trouble. The Chargers are going to take advantage of those high snaps. I believe that we're going to have a lot of quick passes in this game. I just see it happening, and I think that our run game is going to have to really get going. As far as, again, going back to it, you bring in a guy like Martin, is he going to be ready? And I don't know, man. That scares me. So when do you try him out? If we decide to try him out, I think it's got to be against one of these teams that we're a little less worried about.
Honestly,
right?
honestly, I think you should have put him in the game yesterday. You should have benched Andre James after 5 high snaps.
Right.
I hear you on that. Now, because Miami, they really couldn't get pressure from the inside when it came to the blitz. It was more outside. But I think Nick Martin would have been the best fit if you would have made the adjustment in the second half. Because if you notice in that second half, Derek Carr had ended up going under center majority of the time because of the high snaps.
Right. Yeah. And he works better from shotgun. I really love seeing Carr work from shotgun. Like, I really enjoy seeing him work from shotgun. I'll put it this way, though, too. See, this is the thing. I looked it up earlier in the show when we started talking about him. He's number 1 in snaps under center this year, which is kind of weird. That kind of doesn't make sense to me.
Is that according to PFF?
His rate. Yeah,
That's why I don't believe. I believe in no stats I don't believe in no stats from PFF. I don't.
It's rough. I hear what you're saying, but it also said he gave up zero sacks. That doesn't factor in the pressures because that doesn't show unless you pay for the subscription thing, which I'm not going to do. So that's good. I don't know how many pressures he's giving up. We do know that he's not getting enough push in the run game. Can Nick Martin bring that? Is Nick Martin going to be the guy to open those holes, though?
I mean, you never know because we don't see Andre James doing what Rodney Hudson did last year. Rodney Hudson was pulling from the center position. We don't see Andre James pulling. We don't. So I really don't. I really wouldn't know.
I see that's what's hard for me to spotlight. That's where I have to disagree with you. Is that it and it's all love. You know that I don't want to step on those toes. I don't want people to think but we cannot compare Andre James to Rodney Hudson. We have to go back to the reason that we made the decision to make these changes in the first place. And a lot of it had to do with cash. A lot of it had to do with cash and developing a more run-centric zone blocking offensive line, right? And Rodney Hudson is not a zone blocking offensive lineman, and he's coming out of his prime. Not saying he's bad, he's coming out of his prime.
I don't know. I just feel like at that, I think you should have pulled Andre James in certain situations to give Nick Martin a shot because we have not seen Nick Martin. I don't know why we're not giving him a shot on, at the center position. We really didn't see much of him in preseason either, and he wasn't hurt. So
right.
So I just feel like at that time in that moment, I think you should have, I think you should have threw Nick Martin in there, get him some reps, and let them battle it out at practice and see who's better within the next 5 or 6 days, and then you make your starter. But you gotta, the same way y'all say for Andre James, it goes the same way for Nick Martin. Because we have not seen the reps from Nick Martin as a Raider. We have not seen it. But we asking for Andre James to keep getting those reps so he can be prepared. But Nick Martin got to be ready just in case if Andre James get hurt. So where's the reps is coming through? You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's difficult because you're really, and I'm not even necessarily trying to have a play on words here as far, but it's really a gamble. We're at the craps table right now. You know what I mean? We're trying to gamble on making our line, because the reality is our line is decent, but it's not great. It's not necessarily horrible. And as Raider fans, especially in the John Gruden era, but aside from I think the first season, we're used to seeing excellent offensive line play because John Gruden's offense relies so much on it. And I don't know if it's unfortunate, but Derek Carr relies on a good offensive line, as do 90% of the quarterbacks in the NFL. And so it's difficult because we're so used to greatness at offensive line. But in the reality, in retrospect, for me, I kind of push to that left side and I look at Colton Miller and I go, man, I didn't like him at first, and now I love him. Now this year, he's an all-pro left tackle. Look up the statistics. It's out there. I don't know if he's even given up a pressure yet from that left side, and that's going against a lot of really great pass rushers because we face 3 great defenses.
Hey, I mean,
so I don't know. It's looking at it from a developmental standpoint. We've seen what we did with Colton Miller. I know, in my opinion, we're not there yet as far as competing for a Super Bowl. We're not necessarily a Super Bowl team. I think we're a playoff team, but not a Super Bowl team. I think that if we can give this season of development to the 2 people that we're talking about, bro, we will have a top offensive line, and it will be with a lot of the names that we see that are on the offensive line already.
Facts. Yeah, I agree. It's going to take some time, but I mean, if this continue to happen, a change is going to have to happen.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'll be the first one to call in after the Chargers game if Andre James is as much of a liability as he was in this game, and I will be the first one to say, yeah, let's take some time and move him away. Maybe he's not necessarily the answer, but I don't know. I don't know, man. See, that's the thing, man. It's a big question mark. Let's put it that way.
Right. It's a big question mark. A lot of people in the chat are saying, bringing up Jimmy Morrissey. I think Morrissey should be on me personally, I had Morrissey on projected to be on the 53-man roster. I just love his style of play, his grit. He
Right.
comes from that Pittsburgh style of football where they have some good offensive linemen in the NFL so far. But Morrissey, I thought he was going to make this squad. I think he needs to be brought up from the practice squad, in my opinion.
Right. I think Morrissey. I like where Morrissey's at, whether he's on the 50, whether he's on the 53 or as long as he sits on our practice squad in a place where nobody else can touch him, because I think Morrissey can be somebody again that is developed, that comes in. I think even this year, let's say we have some more injuries, I think he could come in and fulfill the guard position. I don't know if he could play tackle, but I think he could fill a guard position pretty well. Or if we really end up needing him, I think he could play center. The difficulty is learning a very hard defense in John Gruden's, offense in John Gruden's offense.
I agree.
Exactly.
I agree, bro.
Yeah. The only other thing that I wanted to say is we got to stop being so conservative. John Gruden has got Derek Carr slinging the ball. Let him sling the ball. If you want to run the clock, that's fine. Run it on first down and take off 25, 30 seconds. But let Carr sling the ball to make a third and short, not third and long. It's ridiculous, Gruden. Gruden needs to step up his play calling, or he needs to hand over the play calling in those fourth quarter situations to a guy who is right now has a quarterback rating of 125 in the fourth quarter. He is the best fourth quarter quarterback this year right now to this point. No argument. Derek Carr is the MVP right now. If we had to hand out the reward, it's going to him. Why not let him run your offense in the fourth quarter? That's all I got to say.
All right, Pastor Raider, I know we can talk it up, brother. I know how you is, but I know it's a lot of people want to talk about this game from yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you calling up, man. You know it's always a good talk with
Hey, Nation, God bless y'all. Spotlight, I'm glad you're better. I was praying for you, thinking about you guys. Raider Nation, keep your head up. You guys are loved.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother. Y'all. That's your boy, Pastor Raider, man. That's the boy, Pastor Raider. Still taking a few more calls, man. Still taking a few more calls on this Reaction Monday. Really want to hear, what y'all have to say, man. So I ain't going to be on here too long. I still have other things I need to do. So make sure y'all, before I put this banner down real quick, I just want to make sure y'all follow me on Facebook at Spotlight Raiders Talk. But we got another caller, so here we go. Hey, thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from?
This is KJ calling from San Antonio.
What's going on, KJ? What's going on with you, brother? How you feeling today?
I'm just happy to be here with you, my brother.
It's all good, man. It's all good, man. Let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel about this game yesterday.
You know what, man? I am an old OG Raider from the 70s. We used to play teams, beat them by 3-6 points. We was happy. That's what we're doing now. So I'm loving it. Defense is doing good. That we ain't never had a defense like 10 years, so I'm happy. Any other time, that, well, if you know the Raiders, we would have lost that game. We would have lost the game against the Steelers and the Ravens. But this year, we got something special here. We know he's a conservative play caller. So, but think about this. We talking about the O-line and all that. Carr has got the most passes in the game. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
So O-line must be blocking somebody. Last year we had Hudson, Jackson, Trent. Carr wasn't doing all that, but the receivers are stepping up. I can see that, but the O-line is doing something this year. So y'all got to sit back and quit bitching and just go with the flow. This is the third game.
Nobody's, but the thing about it is nobody's
doing the same thing this game.
Nobody's,
I could say that.
Nobody's bitching. What we're saying is that we have to be more balanced on an offense. We have to be more balanced. Now, if we want to run, Gruden is a Gruden grinder to a point where he wants to run the football. And that's where the offensive line struggles at. Mind you, they did give up 3 seconds. Listen, hear me out. If you look at those first 3 games, the first half, the offensive line struggled, passing and running the first 3 games. Adjustments was made in the second. Adjustments was made in the second half.
Exactly. And
But
you know
hear
what,
me
so
out.
you
But
said
hear
that.
me out.
Right.
Hear me out.
But let me
Pay
just
him.
say this one thing about the second half. We ain't never been an adjustment on the second half. This is something new to me too.
Yeah. It's an adjustment to all of us. But at the same time, this is still a developing offensive line. They are great. This line is great against the pass. Even though we gave up 3 sacks, we are great against the pass. Yeah, it took us to 2 minutes left in the fourth into overtime to get the running game going. We shouldn't have to wait that long. You get what I'm saying? We have a we have a Josh Jacobs possibly coming back. We're going to have to open up holes from start to finish. That's all we're saying. We're not bitching about the offensive line. We just want them to get better.
Well, yeah, I agree about getting better, but don't we need time?
Yeah, it's going to take time, but when it comes to Andre James and his high snaps, that's something that that's something that you learn as a 10-year-old.
Yes.
That's what I mean. That's why I mean it has to get better because of stuff like that. Little stuff like that has to get better.
Yeah, that's unacceptable. But I'm just saying everybody keeps beating up Leatherwood, and I'm like, the brother's doing decent. He ain't doing for.
I'm not a.
But
I mean,
doing decent.
Listen, Leatherwood's on our team.
But there's a lot of people on the Leatherwood get him out of there. I'm like, no. And then Brandon Parker came in last week. He did great. Y'all talking about Brandon Parker? I love Brandon Parker.
I mean, I love Brandon Parker
did pretty
too.
Good last week.
But with Leatherwood
beating up on Brandon Parker, like, oh, we ain't got another person to put in their third tackle. Brandon Parker got a little bit of skills. Give him some props, guys.
Yeah, we all did. He did really well when Leatherwood went down last week. But this is the thing with Leatherwood that everybody has an issue with, is that Leatherwood played well in the Pittsburgh game before he got hurt. But he regressed from the Pittsburgh game to this game. That's what the issue is. We're critiquing him per game. We're not critiquing him just for the whole season. We're critiquing him per game. All we need him to do is get, like, when it comes against speedy pass rushers, that's when he struggles. He's great against the run. The boy can run block to save his life. I've been watching him for the last 3 years at Alabama. He's great against the run. I just need him to be a little bit quicker off the snap against more speed pass rushers. If he could get that kick and flip his hips and push the chest of a defensive lineman, I'm good with that. I just don't see that. I didn't see that in this game. I just felt like he got beat a lot. He didn't give up a lot of sacks, but he did get beat off the pass rush. That's why I say he's good, but he got to take some criticism with it too. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree with you now. How many sacks did he give up yesterday?
I think it was only one. I think it was one of the 3 sacks that he did give up. It was only one.
But we don't know. You thinking, I'm just that. So, but the thing about me is, I'm saying they got that pass rush coming, and Carr's getting rid of that ball quick. I'm thinking it's helping Carr too to get rid of that ball quick. It's kind of twofold, you know what I'm saying? But I'm kind of loving it myself. But Leatherwood, I'm sticking with him. I'm sticking with Leatherwood. Just like they said, Ruggs was a bust. Look at Ruggs this year. Last year, come on now. Ruggs is balling out this year, guys. He's balling out.
That's why I was not a big fan of Ruggs coming out the draft. I was not, because I'm a college football guy. I was not a big fan of Ruggs coming out the draft and coming to the Raiders when we drafted him. And I told the Raider Nation, I gotta see it to believe it. And now I'm seeing it. And now I'm believing it. All it takes is improvement.
Let's give Leatherwood a little bit of time.
Only reason why I'm not giving Leatherwood that much time is because coming out of college, the Raiders reached in the first round to get him. Well, you could have got him in any other round because Leatherwood was not a first round talent. He's not the 17th best player on the board. Like I said, I'm a college football guy. I follow college football really well. Leatherwood that's why a lot of people have pressure on Damon Arnett and have pressure on Leatherwood because there was reaches in the first round where it was better players on the board than Arnett than Leatherwood. That's why a lot of the Raider Nation feel the way they feel about Arnett and Leatherwood because where we drafted them at.
Okay, who was on the board as far away as the taco and Leatherwood? Because I've been hearing Leatherwood, if we would have picked him, somebody would have picked him before the 30th pick. And that's a fact. So
and my thing is, was us at 17, what we could have did was we could have traded down and got him. We could have traded, but having him as a top 20 player, honestly, we needed so much help on the defensive side of the ball. We could have got another defensive player there. That was a first round talent. Because for real, offensive linemen in the first round, a lot of them don't really become successful like that. It's not too many offensive linemen that's really successful in the NFL. You really find them in that second and third round. That's where you really find your dogs. In them second and third rounds. And you see Brian Edwards is starting to become a dog because he was a third round pick.
Amen to that. You're right. I agree with you on that. And we just got to hang in there. All you young bucks just got to just chill out. Let's go to the Charger game, see what we can do against them, and then we'll make our decision because that's 4 games in. So that's what I'm saying. We get through this first quarter because I go by quarters.
Right.
First quarter, first 4 games. We get through this first quarter and go 4-0. We can lose 2 more games on the next quarter. Okay. But what we got to do is just we got to get right, but we're getting right because the defense is there. We're getting there. Mullins, he gave up that big pass interference, but look what he did. 2 more plays. He didn't punk out. He went in there and knocked down some passes. So we got something brewing here, but we just got to enjoy it. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm saying. Love your show, and you keep doing what you're doing, my brother. And I'm the one that gave us Graphk that plaque. So you keep doing what you're doing, and I might have something for you.
Hey, listen, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. I really do. Shout out to Graphk. You know, that's my brother from another mother right there. So thank you for calling up. We really do. I really do appreciate you calling up to the show.
You got it, my brother. You hang in there.
You too. Shout out to another OG that's a part of the Raider Nation. You know, I'm taking a few more calls, man. So make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to Spotlight Raiders Talk. This is your first time being on the YouTube page. We do suggest that y'all subscribe, hit the bell button, and get the latest news of all Raiders news. So here we go. And thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from? Hello? Hello? And thank you for calling the Spotlight Raiders Talk with Spotlight. Who is this and where you calling from?
Spotlight, what's the deal? This Frank White, man.
What's going on, Frank White? What's up with you, man? How you feeling today?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good after this W, man. I'm feeling good, man.
Let us know how you feel about this game, though. Talk about it.
All right, man. I really wanted to call in and talk about Derek Carr, man. Because I'm going to keep it all the way 100, man.
You and this Derek Carr, every time you call up here, man, it's always about let him know, bro. Let him know.
Hey, because I'm going to keep it real. Over the summer, I was saying, like, man, we might have to move on from Carr, right? Because there was a couple things that I've seen in this game that I'm like, man, he's not improving on it. Like, one of them was dropping up, being a quarterback under center, right? I thought he was playing out of shotgun too much. But yesterday, man, if you paid attention, when Andre James kept messing up, you see where he went. He moved under center, and we started playing better.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's like, man, you know, I mean, I'm starting to analyze Carr. Like, don't get me wrong. I knew Carr was a good quarterback in 2014. When I was looking at those quarterbacks coming out, Johnny Manziel was the hype, right?
Right.
And I'm looking at, and I think they have Blake Bortles too as a hype quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll start watching Derek Carr highlights, and I'm like, man, this dude is just as good as any of these quarterbacks. He might be better. I'm like, he throw the ball, the way he throw the ball. Then when we got him right, he beat out Matt Schaub. I knew he was gonna be good. But I just wanted to give Derek Carr his flowers, man. He turned into a real MVP. And I know you was by his side the whole time. You was a real advocate for Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. I
So,
sure was, and I still am to this day. Carr can get on my nerves sometimes. Right. He can make some stupid mistakes, but outside of he's clutch. He's elite. That's my opinion.
But one more thing. If you could pick a quarterback who Carr reminds you of, like who would you say? Because he's starting to remind me a lot of Peyton Manning, man. The way he gets the line, calls the plays before they call, the audibles and shit that he's doing, man. The way he look at the plays, and he it looks like to me he's starting to scare defenses because the way he reads the defense right now is crazy.
Who do we? I don't know about Peyton Manning, but that's the first person that does come up.
As far as reading the defense before the ball snaps, that he got a lot of that in him. He when he sees some shit that's not right, it's like he's going right to the right play every time.
Facts.
And before John Gruden's system, I didn't like when he audible. I was like, damn, man, ain't no telling what Carr do. That's why I want to say Gruden helped him become a good quarterback. Man, he's an all-around quarterback right now. To me, he's like, shit, I don't want no other quarterback. It's not. He's an elite quarterback right now.
Exactly, and he still leads the league in passing through 3 weeks. So, people need to put some respect on his name. But this is what I say about us in the Raiders. Like when the mainstream media start talking positive about the Raiders, that's when we start losing. I don't want the mainstream media. I want to be an underdog every week. If I'm the Raiders, I want to be an underdog every week.
I hate when we favorite, man.
I hate when we favorite too. I can't stand it when we're favorite because I don't want to be a favorite. I prefer just to be an underdog and prove everybody wrong every single game.
Yeah, man. But I do want us to be a big dog, and I want us to be looked at like, damn, them the Raiders, just like we look at the other elite teams. So it's like, we just got to get past that. I think we kind of we play to our opponents. Like, Miami was I'm not gonna say they're a shitty team, but we should have blew them out. And it's like we started playing down. And it's not on the defense because if you think about it, this offense kind of spotted them 14 points.
Right.
If you really think about it, the pick six. And then John Gruden went for it on 4th and 1. That's not on the defense at all.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
The defense, the defense is much improved. And then it's like, I know you're not liking the offensive line, right? But you got to look at it like this, man. To me, we just as good we just as good as we were last year on the offensive line because none of those players played last year. Gabe was hurt. You had our right tackle was hurt. Only is our center, but I'm not going to give him $13 million. That's too much.
I just think the extension was. I think they gave them that extension, and he was unproven. I think they should have waited to give Andre James that extension. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but he was a free agent, so it's like you don't want to go, and now you got to look for a whole new center who don't know the system. He's like even though he was unproven. He know the plays, so it's like I see why they went there. It's not they only paid him $5 million, so it's not like they gave him a bunch of money. But to me, I feel like we should just give him the money.
Hello.
And hello.
All right, so we're gonna have to cut this short because John Gruden's presser is live right now, y'all. So we will have to cut the call short, bro. Say what else you have to say. And we're going to go over to John Gruden's presser, and we're going to go over there and see what John Gruden has to say.
All right. Well, another thing, man, I want to talk about the defense, man. Shit, I'm starting to see a big improvement from Abrams, man. Abrams is reliable, man. I know you said that was a PI, right? But it's like it's not PI if the ref don't see it, you know?
Right. I know that, but I'm just saying.
We're gonna see a lot of safeties use that play.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's Abram is definitely playing better than what he did last year. That is a fact.
Yeah. But I'm gonna get ready to watch the presser too, man. I'm not gonna stay too long, man. I'll holler at you sometime this week, man.
All right, brother. I'll definitely see you in a little bit, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. All right, so right now I'm not taking any calls right now. We're not taking any calls because John Gruden's presser is about to start. So just give me 1 second here, and we're going to go into John Gruden's presser and see what he has to say. Just give me 1 second. Let me get it. So I know it's about to start soon. We're going to play it live right for y'all here. But probably keep James. He's a good piece. That's what we want to keep him, not just because he's our center. But I will be right back. I'm waiting for Gruden's presser to start. I'll be right back. So let me calm down for a little bit. It's a Spotlight Raiders Talk. I'll be back in a few seconds. I'm back. We're just waiting for John Gruden's presser to come on. So I'm gonna take some questions in the chat. But before we do anything, I know y'all love this audio right here.
Touchdown, Raiders!
I love that audio. People say they don't like Greg Papa or whatever his name is. That's fine by me. But personally, it was great, man. 20 minutes later, I wasn't even gone that long. I hope that this press conference is pretty interesting. I definitely want to hear what he has to say. We're going to be on here after the press conference. And then that'll probably be the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Gordon signed with the Chiefs. Are you serious? No way. I didn't see no news on that. I have not seen no news about Josh Gordon signing with the Chiefs. Are you freaking serious? I don't know how this guy gets too many chances, man. Oh my God. Nah, the live. No, for the live to start. Oh, yeah, it's probably gonna take like another 20 minutes. I hope not. I really hope not. I really hope they really can, say that. But yeah, it's coming up right now. I can't play like the music that they're playing. The problem isn't the offense, it's the defense, though. What makes you think it's the defense? What makes you think it's the defense, Silver Life Rob? What makes you think that? I don't know about that, brother. I don't know. Defense look good. I've seen it on Adam Scheffner's Twitter. So they're showing the game-winning field goal so far in this game. The Cowboys' right tackle tried to bribe the drug testers in the NFL. I heard about that. So they got Kevin Bollinger and Eric Allen talking about, this game because they couldn't stop the Chargers. We are 3-0, damn it, LOL. But recently reinstated Josh Gordon is planning to sign with the Kansas City Chiefs. Reps tell Adam Scheffner in Bleacher Report. So the Chiefs is trying to do anything to get back in this division. They trying to get back in this division since they're at the bottom of this division right now. He got suspended. I doubt they tested him. I don't know, bro. So we just looking at won the first 3 games of the year, 3 opponents that won 10+ games the previous season. O-line has been sucking that last game. Yeah. So why go for Josh Gordon if it doesn't make any sense? For me, I don't think it makes sense. I think you have the right offense if you're the Chiefs, but I don't know. Barber rushed for 100 yards. I mean, can Barber do it again if Josh Jacobs can't go? That's another question. We're at the bottom on defense. I don't think we're at the bottom. Listen, it's only 3 weeks. I'm not going to say our defense is trash. If you look at the points that we gave up, we don't really give up a lot of points. We don't give up a lot of points. Even though the game was 28-31, we gave up more touchdowns. We gave up more field goals than touchdowns. That's the main thing. We need to keep taking our foot off the gas. Y'all saying it's not the offense, but what about John Gruden being conservative in the fourth quarter? Putting that pressure on our defense. How about that? So we're waiting for John Gruden to come to the podium at this moment. We're waiting for John Gruden to come up to the podium, and then once we hear that pressure, I'll give my response, and then we'll go from there. We'll definitely go from there. So make sure y'all come on and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time being at this page, at this YouTube page, we would suggest that you subscribe, hit the bell button, and get the latest news and all Raiders news. Our defense will finish at least top 15. Yeah. We're only going into week 4. Week 3 is not even over yet until after tonight. We gotta give it a chance. Yeah, it's a big body receiver that the Chiefs don't have, but do they really need a big body receiver? They won a Super Bowl without that. For me, when it comes to the NFL, big body receivers is not really needed anymore in the NFL. The way offenses are made now in the NFL, big body receivers is not really needed. It's not. Raiders suck. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the view. Appreciate you coming through here. Thank you. We 3-0 just like you, right? We 3-0 just like you, but we suck. Okay, thank you. They lost the Super Bowl too. You disagree with what, Cool Cat? What you disagree with? I'm not worried about Josh Gordon at all. Rigo, y'all couldn't beat the Steelers. Facts. Talk about a Raider purge. You mean they need somebody to fill that Sammy Watkins void? I don't understand how y'all think Sammy Watkins is a threat. This guy is not a threat in the NFL when it comes to receivers. I'm just joking. I'm a Dolphins fan. Love the rivalry between us. All right. All right. No problem, bro. No problem. No problem. But John Gruden is coming to the podium as we speak.
We have a lot of guys that are sore. Josh Jacobs, I met with Josh this morning, and we're going to see how he feels on the practice field this week. I'm not making any predictions, but we're hopeful that we can get him back on the grass at some point this week. Proud of our team, very hard-fought victory, and we got a real tough opponent this week on Monday night in the Chargers. So with that being said, I'll answer any questions I can.
John, all you have to do is look around the NFL to realize it's not easy to win football games in the NFL consistently as well. To be 3-0 with the schedule that you guys have had and kind of the travel, just the way things have played out, how satisfied are you? Not satisfied, but, pleased, I guess, at this point.
Well, it's fun to win. And it's also, you got to be realistic when you look at your schedule. What we have coming up doesn't get much easier. The Chargers just went to Kansas City and beat the Chiefs and did it in impressive fashion. So every week is a grind. And hopefully we get some good news from the trainer, and some of the guys that have been missing can come back and help us, because we're going to need them.
Do you feel like the offensive line, especially in that second half, settled in a little bit?
Yeah, we're getting there. We need to put a complete performance together. That's what we need to do. And we've had spurts where it's been pretty doggone good, and there's been spurts where it needs to be better. But it's a young group. They're playing some formidable defenses, some good players, and a lot of looks. And I think we're getting better, which is encouraging. We're still inexperienced and young at some positions, but Leatherwood is working with a guy that just got here. Andre's really started half a dozen games in his career. The snap accuracy wasn't as good as it needs to be yesterday. And John Simpson's a young player. So it's going to take some time. Development doesn't happen overnight, but we're getting better.
Of course, you have so many guys on your team currently that will be facing the former team, including Gus Bradley, Casey Hayward, Denzel Perryman, who all been stepping up. How excited are you for those guys who really got on the field and really put together a total performance against the former team?
Well, they got some guys on their team that are looking forward to playing against those guys you're thinking about. So it's how you look at it. I'm sure our guys are excited to go up against their former team, and I'm sure they feel very excited to go up against these guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be an emotional game. It always is when we play the Chargers, and we're looking forward to it. It'll be a great challenge.
John, I know that you're in the bubble looking at the Chargers, but quick question about Denzel Perryman. He's been here 26 days and performing at a super high level. Can you talk about that performance considering how short he's been here?
All right, so I don't know why they put music.
He's a good line.
I don't know why they put music on the audio. Like, I don't know why they put music on there. So I can't even hear him respond, because the Raiders put audio on there. Like, they put music on there that I can't even play because of copyrights. Like, I hate that. Like, why would they do that? Go back to the regular press conference. Why would they do that?
Everybody around them. We haven't played the perfect game by far.
Well, along those same lines, Casey Hayward has been really good in his role. What has he brought to this defense, and what can he continue to bring?
Well, he's a good player. That's the one thing we're missing. These guys are not just former Chargers or Gus Bradley. These are good players. We thought Hayward was a problem for us twice a year when we played against him. We had a lot of respect for Perryman when we played against him. So it's good to have him here. He's a solid player. He's a good cover guy. He's smart. He sees it. He sees route patterns develop. He's been a great tackler. He doesn't give up big plays. And he's been a great acquisition in the locker room and behind the scenes too. So we're happy to have him.
I know you mentioned snap accuracy already. Derek talked about it yesterday, just more time on task and getting to where you guys want to be consistently. Is that something, is a practice thing? Is it a mental thing? Where do you think that is? Well,
we practice a lot. You're not always out there, but we probably get as many reps as anybody in the league. And we're not going to make any excuses. This is the National Football League, and we've had one over our head in Baltimore in the scoring zone. We've had one over our head against Miami.
That's a fact too, Silver Life Rob. That's a fact. Okay, I know you clarified it. Good job. I appreciate you, brother.
Yardage. So we got to do a better job, period. Andre knows it. We all know it, and we expect him to get better at it.
Jacobs out of the game. Ruggs and Brian Edwards in late game situations are among the best in the NFL. They might be 1 and 2 when you talk about fourth quarter.
Why they keep playing the music, bruh? Why they keep playing the music? I hate that. Stop playing the music during his press conference, bruh. That's weird. They never did this against the John Gruden press conference. They never did this. Now they showing highlights of the game. Yeah, the Chiefs are picking up Josh Gordon. They are. They are.
But he knows.
Music is still playing, so I can't really hear what he's saying because they playing music during this press conference.
Nobody in the NFL is close. In your system, how key is it that Derek is able to get the ball to so many different people?
That's always been the goal, and to have balance as well, not just throwing it to different people, but being able to turn and hand it off to somebody that can do something. We had some balance yesterday, which helped us win that game, but
Jonathan, it was Adam Scheffner that reported it.
they may be young, but they're talented, they're reliable, they're tough, and they're versatile, and they are explosive. And if you center your attentions on Waller, I think these young guys are proven that they can do some damage as well. They got to continue to get better and better. They're not perfect yet. None of us are, but we're seeing a lot of progress.
Coach, we know Sundays are, about the game and going to battle, but, Andy Reid yesterday fell ill after the game and doing better now, but is that kind of a, reminder life still kind of exists?
Yeah, he's a very close friend, and we exchanged some text messages last night, and just glad to hear he's okay. And yeah, no doubt. I will be the first to admit this is not an easy deal emotionally. I'm just glad I have so much poise and I'm so laid back.
No, you know darn well you ain't laid back, John Gruden. Stop that.
It seems like he's kind of settled in, more than last year, which you've been the assessment of course.
Yeah, I think he has. Again, I think this defense, not that our previous defense hurt him, I think this defense is more suited for him. I think zone coverage, he keys the quarterback, the fact that we have a rush too. Everybody talks about the system. It's the guys up front that are really making a lot of this happen. The quarterback doesn't have all day to stand back there and survey the field. The ball's coming out quick. And when it does, you key the quarterback, you get jumps on plays and you can make plays. But I think this defense suits him. I think the improved pass rush up there helps. And he's also a great special teams player and a great guy. So we're happy to have him.
John, given 2 overtime games in the first 3 weeks, a cross-country trip to Pittsburgh and back, how important is it or how nice is it to have this extra day off going into Monday to get the guys just to heal up?
Yeah, it is certainly been a grind. I'll be honest with you. We use this next few days creatively to buy some time to look at Chicago because we know we play them on a real short turnaround. Later this afternoon, we'll get into the Chargers, and players will be back tomorrow for a little bit of a workout. And the players will have Wednesday off. But we have a lot of preparation to do for the Chargers, and obviously getting a little advanced work done on the Bears and knowing it's going to be a short week.
That's good. All
right, guys. Have a good one.
Raider Nation has been waiting to get any type of update on Josh Jacobs, and right off the top, Coach Gruden gave us maybe some promising news that they expect him to get on the practice field today. Don't know whether that's going to impact whether he'll play or not next Monday, but from an injury standpoint, him and the other players that are injured, to get them back would be huge.
Yeah, that's encouraging to hear that, talk to him, making sure it was doubtful last week. Hopefully this week he can be questionable, and then with his grittiness, his toughness, he wants to be a contributor to that running game. You know how much he loves this Raiders football team and how great a runner he is, right? And so we've had some issues with our running game. Second half kind of picked up over 100 yards from Barber. So again, if you have a dual running back group along with Kenyon, that can only help this football team become more balanced and more deadly.
And a lot of it comes back to the offensive line, a lot of interchangeable parts that have had to be moved around because of injuries. And Coach Gruden said that they need to put a complete performance together. There were some snap problems yesterday, but the more time these guys are on the field, the better it's going to be going forward.
Yeah, that's so important because the lack of preseason that the whole National Football League has, and just the 3 preseason games, the Raiders as starters didn't see much time at all. So again, you take these 2 games and now the 3rd game, these guys are understanding what's expected of them. Over 30 runs yesterday. So again, the balance was there between the run and the pass. This football team ultimately wants to be a power running football team. And of course, they have to continue to develop up, playing a complete game, not having these kind of slow starts early, putting the team under pressure, the running game under pressure. So again, you see the promise of these young players. Tom Cable, Coach Gruden, they all have an idea of what this football team, what these measurables are all about. They're all there. It just needs to be more consistent for this running game to pop off. And I know this offensive line is going to have tremendous success down the road.
Well, we've seen the defense have a lot of success so far early in the season. Coming up on.
All right, so basically that was John Gruden's presser. Basically, I like what John Gruden said when it comes to the certain music. I'm not allowed to play certain music due to copyrights. So that's why I had to mute majority of the presser, but I kind of like what he said about Denzel Perryman and how he talked about Josh Jacobs. You know, him and Barber would be a dual threat back with Kenyon Drake. It was very interesting to talk about. It was a very interesting press conference. Not a long press conference. Kept it short and sweet, but they're not taking the Chargers lightly. They're not taking the Chargers lightly on Monday night. So with that being said, y'all, I know a lot of the people are going to come back in from the presser. I'm not going to be on here too long because it's been a 2-hour show, and I want to thank everybody for being here. I think we're going to let Drake go after this year. To be honest with you, Spotlight, I disagree. I don't think we are. I think we'll get rid of Jalen Richard before we get rid of Kenyon Drake. That's my opinion. I gave you a shout out in the Gruden Presser Spotlight. Thank you so much, brother. I really do appreciate you, man. I appreciate you giving me give me a shout out in the presser. I really do appreciate that, brother. But that's it for today's show. I will be back on Wednesday, same time, same place at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Josh Gordon is signed with the Chiefs. Anthony Price, I know that already. I don't know the contract situations, but shout out to Cool Kev. Shout out to everybody that caught up to the show. Thank y'all so much for being here. Make sure y'all follow me on all social medias. On Instagram at Spotlight Raiders Talk. Facebook, follow me on Facebook at Spotlight Raiders Talk. Follow me on Twitter at Spotlight RN Talk. Make sure you go to spotlightsportsgear.com starting September 29th. It'll be 20% off on everything on the website. 20% off. So make sure you go get your merch, get your Spotlight Raiders Talk hat, t-shirt, your baby trimp brown, whatever one you want to do. Make sure y'all do that. Make sure you check out the Spotlight Sports Network Spotlight Sports Network YouTube. We'll be live for Eagles and Cowboys on Monday night tonight. I definitely will be live Monday night for Raiders and Chargers next week. I'll be live majority of this week talking about the game. We will have a special guest on here, Jake the Snake Silver of the Snake Sports Talk Show. He's a Chargers fan. We're going to have him on here one day this week. We're going to have our live show as usual. 5XL 6L hoodie t-shirts. I think we have some. I think this is only in certain colors if I'm not mistaken. But Walter Ross, send me a message on Facebook. Send me a message on Facebook and I can send you the link of which ones is 5XL and 6SL. And I got you. But thank y'all so much for being here, y'all. Thank y'all for showing me love on Reaction Monday. It's your boy Darion of the Spotlight Raiders Talk. Shout out to y'all. Peace, love, and happiness. And I'll see you on the next live stream or in the next video. Peace.
From OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm so nation. No matter the location. From OAKLA to LV, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm a Raider. Ain't shit you can tell me, I'm so nation. No matter the location.